Round one of the 2025 NFL Draft will be a big one for Omar Khan and the Pittsburgh Steelers because getting the right player at that pick at number 21 overall could change the franchise. And if you draft a dud at that spot, well, things won't be quite as good for the black and gold. Welcome in to Steelers Talk. I'm your host, Jack Sperry, and today I'm going to be breaking down 11 players that I think Pittsburgh is keeping a very close eye on with their first overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft at number 21 overall. They're in Green Bay in a few short months. So make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon if you haven't already. If you want more draft videos just like this one here on Steelers Talk, I really do appreciate all of your guys' support. We've already put out a bunch of great draft content. My first mock draft. We've put out a bunch of mock draft reaction videos as well. On a bunch of different players going over their extensive scouting reports. So if you want all that extensive Steelers draft content all throughout the draft season, make sure you click that thumbs up icon and click that subscribe button. Okay, now, I think that the ideal situation for the Pittsburgh Steelers in round one is to get Ashton Jeanty out of Boise State, the running back, all right? Because I think, and you guys have heard me say this a bunch of times, I think that getting the run game right is going to be the main thing that decides just how good the Steelers are in 2025. Because in 2024, they were supposed to be led by the run game and instead had a bottom 5, bottom 10 at best run game in the National Football League. They got to go from bottom 10 to at least top 10, most likely top 5, if they truly want to compete for a Lombardi Trophy next season. And, you need a running back to really give you a big upgrade. And I think Ashton Jeanty out of Boise State gives you the best possible chance to make that Ezekiel Elliott type of impact in his rookie season. Incredible contact balance. Of course, he's got home run hitting speed as well. I think that he's also pretty decent as a back, as a receiving option out of the backfield. And I just think that, he's probably going to be long gone before the Steelers end up picking at number 21. But if I'd have to pick one player that I would just absolutely love for the Pittsburgh Steelers to take at number 21 overall, I would definitely pick this kid out of Boise State because I think he's the complete package. I think he's exactly what the Steelers need. But like I said, guys, unfortunately, I don't think he makes it to number 21. I think that the Raiders at number 6, if Shedeur Sanders is off the board, are seriously going to be looking at him to be a game-changing running back for them. And after impacts like Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs had with their respective teams this year, I think that teams are really going to value what Ashton Jeanty can bring to their organizations. And because he's an elite caliber prospect, I think he ends up going pretty early. So if you can't get Ashton Jeanty in round one, I would then pivot to getting a really good wide receiver for the future for this offense. All right, George Pickens, the future is certainly uncertain when it comes to him. And, they might go out and get somebody in free agency, whatever, but they also might trade George Pickens. So I think the chances that this team takes a wide receiver in either round 1 or round 2 is pretty darn high. Right now, there are 5 receivers that I think could realistically be there at 21 that I would consider if I were Omar Khan. Luther Burden III out of Missouri is a really dynamic playmaker out in space. He's a great route runner. Maybe isn't the biggest guy in the world, but this team needs playmakers that can get open against man coverage. Luther Burden III can certainly do that, so he's certainly on my list. Matthew Golden, a very similar type of receiver to Luther Burden III, not the biggest guy in the world, isn't going to provide much run blocking as some other guys we're going to talk about on this list below them. But at the end of the day, guys, you got to have explosive playmakers in an offense that's going to have a lot of runaway routes, lots of full field progression reads with a bunch of routes going over the middle of the field. You need guys that can run after the catch, and Burden and Golden are 2 guys that can certainly do that. Another guy that can do that, but is a little bit better of a run blocker, is Emeka Egbuka out of Ohio State. Now, where Burden and Golden differentiate themselves from Egbuka, in my opinion, is I think that they are better vertical threats than Emeka is. I'm not sure if Egbuka is going to be somebody that can take the top off of a defense necessarily. He's a little bit bigger, doesn't quite have the same level of explosiveness as Burden or Golden possesses, but he's a great teammate. He's a national champion there with the Ohio State Buckeyes. He's very loyal to that organization as well there at Ohio State, that program, and I think that he'd be a perfect fit in this offense with how much Arthur Smith loves his wide receivers to run block. Another guy that really caught my eye at Senior Bowl this year was Jayden Higgins, the 6'4", crafty route runner out of Iowa State. And you don't see guys with the route running ability, the silky smooth route running ability of Jayden Higgins at his size very often. He's 6'4", He's got a lot of size that he brings to the table, but he's got a little bit of a lighter frame. So even though he's 6'4", he's not the best run blocker in the world. So keep that in mind. But having a 6'4" guy that can go up there, get those tough 50-50 catches in the red zone and down the sideline, but can also get open against man coverage pretty consistently would be a big-time asset for this Steelers offense. And then somebody that had a phenomenal Senior Bowl game and week as a whole, Jack Bech out of TCU. He's been a fast riser. And some people are even comparing him to Puka Nacua because of his ability to get open and then make plays after the catch. Now, I think that he's somebody that isn't quite on the same level as a guy like Luther Burden III or Tedorora McMillan or Travis Hunter or Matthew Golden. But I do think Bech just fits the Pittsburgh Steelers perfectly because he's a phenomenal run blocker. He catches everything thrown his way. And I really question Bech's ability to be a true number one in this league. But if you're looking for a true number two to George Pickens, let's say they keep Pickens this offseason, or say they bring in like a Devontae Adams, I could see Bech being a really, really good number two receiver in this league from the word go. And then I think, he maybe does have the potential to eventually become a number one receiver in the future. So shout out your guy down there in the comment section. Which wide receiver do you hope lands in Pittsburgh in the NFL draft this year? Are you hoping they get a round one guy? Do you hope that they get a round two guy? How early? What round? What player? Let me know down there in the comment section for today's pinned comment. In just a second here, I'm going to be talking about our sponsor today at GameTime. And while I'm talking about GameTime, go down there, find that pinned comment at the top of the comment section, and answer today's pinned question. And with that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at GameTime, which is the best place for you to buy tickets for the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. GameTime has a new feature called GameTime Picks that makes getting tickets for live events even easier. GameTime Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. All you have to do is select the GameTime Picks button at the top of the screen when you go into an event you want to go see, and GameTime automatically filters through their entire database of tickets to find you the best tickets at the best prices with the best seats so you and your family can get the best possible deals on any ticket you get to any live event. What I love about using the GameTime app and why it's the only ticketing app I have on my phone right now is you get the lowest price guarantee on any ticket to any event, all-in pricing so you don't get slapped with a crazy fee at checkout, and flash deals so you can get even cheaper tickets the closer you wait to game time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with GameTime today. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. It's one word, all caps, CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download GameTime today. What time is it? Game time. So another option that the Steelers have, and I'd rather go offense, but there's certainly players on defense that they could consider in round one. And I think that there's a list of 5 players on this side of the ball that I would consider. The first one is defensive tackle out of Michigan, Kenneth Grant. Now, we've talked about on this show that this team needs a run-stuffing nose tackle to allow Keanu Benton to go to a more natural position for him at the 5 technique and eventually take over Cam Hayward's job at the 3 technique as a true pass rushing threat. What Kenneth Grant does, guys, is he is a big body, 340 pounds, but he's also massively, massively athletic, and he can stop the run with ease. I mean, he plays with great pad level. He tackles well. He can hold double-team blocks with ease, and I think that if you can get him at number 21, that is certainly a player that I would like to add to the Pittsburgh Steelers defensive front. But honestly, some of the other options at their disposal, Talik Williams, Deion Walker, some of the other names that are thrown out there, I'd rather make them a day 2 pick if they fall to you, because I do have some red flags in their games that I don't have with Kenneth Grant. Then we get to the cornerback position here. I got 4 corners that I would consider. First up, Jahdae Barron, a kind of a nickel extraordinaire out of Texas. He was the 3rd highest graded corner in all of football, or all of college football this past year, I should say. He can play outside. He can play inside. He reminds me a lot of Brian Branch in the way that he can play in a bunch of different spots. He's a great tackler. He's great in man-match coverage specifically, which the Steelers play a lot of on early downs. And I think that, if you're going to spend a first-round pick on a corner, why not make it a nickel extraordinaire that you're not going to find anywhere else in the NFL draft? This is an extremely unique player, and, I think that there are some good corners in this class, plus I think that Pittsburgh will most likely address this position in free agency, so I don't think it'll be as high of a need, but if you are going to take a corner in round 1, Jahdae Barron would probably be the one I would prefer. But if you are really just, gung-ho about going out and getting your starting number 2 corner next year, Benjamin Morrison will probably be my pick on the outside. He's not the biggest guy in the world, but he plays with incredible technical proficiency. He is coming off an injury, but he's one of the best man coverage corners in the NFL draft this season, and I think that he would be more than worth a first-round pick to any contending team out there, like hopefully the Steelers will be in 2025. Then we get to Siobhan Revel Jr. out of East Carolina, and this guy, he's put some really good tape together, but he's coming off a major injury, and he's played against lower-level competition, but, the physical traits, jump off the tape. Long arms, great instincts in coverage as well. He can be a little bit too aggressive at times, can get baited on a double move from time to time, but he's got the long speed, the hip fluidity, everything that you look for in a true number 1 cover corner in the National Football League. So he's somebody that I would accept as well as this team's first-round selection. And speaking of guys with the traits, Trey Amos out of Ole Miss is another guy that fits that description. Another guy that can get maybe baited into a double move from time to time. His technique can certainly use some refinement, particularly in press coverage, but he's got the physicality that the Steelers tend to look for in their cornerbacks. So these are the 4 corners that I would consider if I were the Pittsburgh Steelers. So let me know down there in the comments section, offense or defense, which side of the field should Pittsburgh prioritize in round 1 of the 2025 NFL Draft? I think they should prioritize offense, but let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Type O for offense or D for defense. Thank you guys for making it to the end of today's edition of Steelers Talk by Chat Sports. We got more and more Steelers draft content coming your way in the weeks to come, leading up to the big day in Green Bay in just a few short months. So if you want to become an expert on all these top prospects that the Steelers are targeting in this year's draft, make sure you click that subscribe button right now. And until next time, here we go, Steelers.